With the football season coming to an end, I thought to myself, hey, we might as well look towards the next season. It seems like it's so far off normally, but no. Apparently in about 6-7 weeks time, we got the season restarting again. Because obviously of all the problems that happened with last season, or the current season that we're in still. Because there's stuff going on still with this current season. Hopefully next season will be uninterrupted with any shenanigans, but the way the world's looking, it's looking like there might be serious problems coming down the road, especially in the winter. Australia, not looking great. They're winter right now, so do the math. Stuff's not exactly looking good. So, I thought might as well look towards transfers throughout the summer that might come to Spurs. I know that a couple of them are pretty penciled in, whether I like it or not. And some names on this list who I think could do a job for Spurs, others that have been talked about, and some missed opportunities. So we'll start off with number 1 on this list for me, Min Jae, Korean defender, young lad, like 23, 24, $10 to $15 million or pounds, either way. Split the difference. The pound is, 130, 125 to the dollar. 10 to 15 million. Levy, get the deal done. Stop haggling over a couple milli, alright? I know we're in tough times. We're all in tough times. But 15 milli in the transfer market for the player that he could be. Not that he is. Not that Mr. Kim is the best footballer in the world. I'm not going to say he is. But considering he could potentially do a very good backup job for what we have right now with Sanchez, Alderweireld, and maybe Dyer. If we have this guy in there, I think he'll settle in well with Son being there as well. Pay the money. Don't haggle over $1.5 million. If you have to pay 14.5, pay the 14.5. Don't be like, we don't want to pay over 12. Stop it. You paid excess money for ridiculous players, and you're going to haggle over £1.5 million. I know it's a lot of money, but come on. You're not Burnley, you're Tottenham. Next, Pierre Schulz. Now, I know that's probably almost how you say it, but I might be wrong. He's a Danish lad, again, 24, looking at a lot of younger players here, under 25 in general. Centre mid, probably looking at a fee between 25 and 30 million. Do I think he's worth that? It's not for me to decide, but I'll tell you, no, I don't think he's worth 30 million. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's going to improve Spurs' first 11 that much. I think he might improve the squad slightly. But with the players we have then, centre midfield, I can't really see how Hjulberg improves that. And for 30 million, I'd rather inject that money elsewhere than there. But if Mourinho thinks he's the guy, then I guess he's the guy. When you look at the team, you look at Sissoko, Winks, and Ndombele. You got Dyer in defensive mid, if that's the case. All those players there can play defensive mid. So I'm just why bust out on Hjulberg when there are other areas of the pitch, specifically right back, centre back, left back, probably right wing and striker that all need bolstering more so, in my opinion, than defensive mid, which does need maybe some rejigging, but I don't think Hjulberg is the player to do that. But Mourinho knows more than me. Next, Ryan Fraser. Left back, does a job, be good support for Davis now that Rose is probably going to leave. Get it done. I think he's free this summer. Get it done, alright? Chris Wood, striker. This guy popped off this season a little bit. Burnley, now looking like he's probably going to be 15 to 20 milli. Scored 14 goals this season from what I saw. He's a traditional English striker, if you know what I mean. He holds up the ball well, in my opinion. He gets in the box a lot. He doesn't really score from outside the box. He scores. He's a traditional goal scorer, all right? That's what he is. I think he would be great cover for Kane. I just don't think he's gonna leave Burnley being the leading man there to come and play second fiddle and basically be sat on the bench for 30 out of 40 games in the season. So while I think he would be a very good and relatively cheap, I know it's crazy thinking 15 to 20 milli is relatively cheap, but it is in the world we live in the football transfer market. So I'd say for 15 or 20 milli, if you can get someone like Chris Wood, I don't think it's a bad idea. It's going to be a tough sell to him, but I would give it a shot, if anything. I think he could do a job as a backup. If not, then, you could just go back and get Llorente again, Why not? Worked out so well last time. I said last season just re-sign Llorente. They decided not to do it. I can actually say with almost full confidence, we would have got more points if we had Llorente than if we didn't have Llorente. Just because he's a striker and he holds up the ball well. Just by that, we probably would have got more points. Not saying we would have got Champions League if Llorente had been playing while Kane and Son may have been out. But yeah, I'm gonna lean on saying that we might have got more points on the board if Llorente had been with us this year. So it'd be interesting if he just pops up next year like, hey guys, I'm back. Hey. You're like, oh, well, we know you. You're Fernando, how you doing? Like, no. But yeah, Fernando Llorente, maybe. Free transfer, maybe? Not a bad idea. Not the best idea, but not a bad idea. Ruben Neves, all right. Ruben Neves, very, very good player. I know not a cheap player. He's a centre mid, centre defensive mid, but he's the type of player who can just do shit. You know, when you see in things, he's like, I want that guy to do stuff for us. He's only like super young. He's only super young, you know. He's only got that on his side as well. He's like 24. I know 40 milli is probably the price that Wolves are going to be looking at. By no means a small amount of money. It's just not. It's actually a rather large amount. I think that would make him the second most expensive Spurs signing ever. So it's a lot of money to be paying. But I think Ruben Neves would actually significantly improve the team. Will Wolves sell him? No. So there's no point talking any further about this. I would love for him to join, but there's no chance, I would say, that Ruben Neves is going to be coming to Spurs. The only way is if Wolves don't get a Europa League spot and they already start selling some players. I don't see that happening. Maybe Traore is going to go. But if they keep a bunch of that team together, then they've got a good chance of trying to get into the top 6 next year as well. So Ruben Neves, unlikely just because he is like a linchpin for them. And I think he could do it for almost any big team in Europe. He has that quality in him and he has the work rate, the ethic. And Ndidi and Tielemans, 2 players who I really wanted at Spurs last year. I'd take either of them, honestly. I think they both do different jobs, but they're both worth about 40 milli. So, again, very unlikely. But I think that for defensive mid, I think Tielemans could be a very good box-to-box player. I think he really could, and I think he could bring a lot. When you compare those players to Hjulberg, I think those two significantly increase and improve the squad and potentially the starting 11. I don't think Hjulberg does that, but who am I? I'm no one. I'm nothing. I don't know shit. I just know football. And I know Tottenham. And I'm telling you, Hjulberg, prove me wrong, but I don't think he's going to make a dramatic impact. But please prove me wrong. I'll take it. Prove me wrong. Slap me in the face. Whip it out and just whip me about. I'll take it. If you make the team better, then I'll take the loss. And you take the win as Spurs take the win. And then we're all happy, really. Jack Grealish. 35 million is apparently the market rate for someone like Jack Grealish. I think if Aston Villa had been relegated, there would be a slew, an absolute bombardment on Villa Park. It would be crazy. It would be like warfare trying to get Jack Grealish out of the club. But the fact that they were able to stay up, I think that it leads me to think he's going to stay at Aston Villa for another season, which is great for him. I mean, he's basically like a club hero at this point. Beginning of the season, I thought he was a bit overrated. I think maybe he is slightly, but he does a lot of good stuff on the pitch. Again, I look at someone like Declan Rice. I thought he was just hype. The more I've watched of him, the more I'm like, nah, this guy's the real deal. More so than Phil Foden for me. And Rice is more of a centre mid. Foden's probably more of an attacking mid. So I think that Grealish could improve Spurs' squad and team. 35 milli, maybe a bit expensive, but I'd rather buy Grealish or Tielemans or Ndidi or Ruben Neves or Chris Wood or Ryan Fraser or Min Jae than Pierre Hjulberg as of right now. I don't want to be like I'm bashing on Hjulberg here, because I'm not. I think he's a good player. I just don't think he's a great player, and I think we need players who are going to dramatically increase the quality of the squad. When you lose someone like Moussa Dembele last year in January, it was like, ooh, we lost something big there, and it probably caused us to capitulate the way we did in the season. And I don't think he brings that type of steeliness or ingenuity that Dembele did bring with him. Whereas I think Neves does have that little bit to him, which might fill the gap left by Moussa Dembele, one of the most underrated players of the Premier League era, in my opinion, but then that's just my opinion. Oh, Traore, of course, you know, Wolves, maybe he'll go, maybe he won't. He's going to be at least 30 milli, probably more. So don't expect him to come to Spurs, but probably expect him to leave. Diogo Jota. Now, he's one who I think there's more of a chance of him leaving than Ruben Neves. And if we could get Diogo Jota, he slipped straight into the first team. Like, he's there. He's in. I think he is a very good player. He's going to be 30 milli, maybe more. I'd take him. I think Lucas has had actually a very good second half of the season, in my opinion. He's really showed himself. He stood up. He was counted. And I think he did a very good job in a lot of games. Not that he got a lot of goals. Not that he got a lot of assists. But his play and the rate at which he was going, he was really trying. And I think that's the most important thing. I think that's the thing with Sissoko as well. Not that he gets a ton of goals, not that he gets a ton of assists, but he tries his utmost. And I think in that team, you have players like Lucas, like Son, like Sissoko, like Kane, who do give 200% most of the time. With Lucas, I feel it's different from the other three in which it doesn't come off most of the time, though, which doesn't really help. Then we have some players who are apparently on our transfer list who I do not want stepping into White Hart Lane. Well, I still call it White Hart Lane. I know it's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I call it White Hart Lane. Coutinho, don't want you there, man. I'm sorry. I think you're a good player. You're like 30 now, 29. You're going to improve the team, yes, but you're not going to be there long term. Probably not. You're just going to take Giovanni Lo Celso out of the team, who I think is someone who will build to be a very good player in the Premier League. Kurt Zouma, someone who I'm surprised Mourinho's looking at him, but he's worked with him at Chelsea, I guess, to some degree, and he wants him. If Chelsea's willing to let him go, though, I think it shows that maybe we shouldn't be buying him. Wilfried Zaha. Yeah, I made a video specifically on Zaha quite a while ago, and someone was bashing me in the comments a bit, and I gave it back, but, you know, Zaha is a good player, but he is not. I'm sorry, he is not the level of which Spurs are. He's just true. It's just true. He's a legend at Palace, and that's great. It's the same thing with Grealish. He's the legend at Aston Villa. Grealish could go on to do and play for other teams. I could not see Zaha fitting into any of the big teams anywhere. I can't see him play at City. I can't see him play at Liverpool. I can't see him play at Spurs. I can't see him play at Man United. I can't see him play at Chelsea. I might see him play at Arsenal, but now with Nicolas Pepe, Lacazette and Aubameyang, it's like, why would you want another player like that in your team? So I can't see where he goes. He's 150, 130 grand a week player. You're going to have to pay 30, 40 milli for him. I'm sorry. Just no. I saw someone say he's on the level of Son, so Spurs should get him. If you think he's on the level of Son, you either don't watch football very well or you don't understand statistics. It's either one of those. It could be both together, in which case you have serious mental capacity problems. You have problems with your mental capacity, which is fine. I don't hold it against you, but just be aware of that. Callum Wilson is another one on the list, someone who I think is a good player. I think he could be the guy. I think he could be the backup to Kane that we need, and someone, especially because Bournemouth have been relegated, we could get on the cheap, probably 15, maybe even less. We could probably get him for less than 15 milli, which would be great. It would be a coup in my opinion. Be there for a couple of years. I think he would play backup to Kane. I think he would do a job there. You know, he'd take his opportunities when he got them. And I think there will be a bit of a raid on the Bournemouth squad because they did have a couple of very, very good players over the last few years, which is going to be sad. I know they were, I think, a lot of people's like favourite second team. So Callum Wilson, I think, is a good bet for us. He's got a proven record. Not that he scored a ton of goals this year, but he scored a good amount. In a bad team, in a worsening team. I think the loss of Ryan Fraser alone just caused them to be relegated, honestly. I think if Ryan Fraser had actually been playing and he'd committed to the team, I think that's one thing which I'm unsure about Ryan Fraser with, is the commitment there. I understand why he would have decided to be like, I don't want to play anymore if the team and the squad and the coach said you're not playing anymore, because he wants to continue, and if he gets injured he might not get the move that he wants to get. But I think that big shock difference from removing 10 plus assists. Fraser got 1 goal and 4 assists this season, and he got 7 goals and 14 last season. So those numbers alone, to me, say he has a huge impact. He's got good delivery. Almost a fact, I would say. It's almost a fact that if Fraser had been playing, Bournemouth would not have been relegated because they ended up going down by a point. And, you know, I'm pretty sure he would have garnered them more than 1 point over the season. Then, last on the list, Matt DiGiglio, all right? Matta DiGiglio, I don't know, all right? But Juventus lad, fullback, he's good cover. I think Aurier needs competition for his role. I think he's done actually a surprisingly average job. sounds nuts. He's done a surprisingly average job, but he's done a job. Recently, he's been through some stuff, and I'm not going to be like, we should sell Aurier, because I don't think that's good for the squad, the team, him. I don't think that's useful to anyone. I think that he is okay going forward. I think he's got worse going forward, actually, as the season's progressed. But I think, oddly enough, he's got better defensively in some ways. So, his delivery needs to be improved. He was really banging them in the first half of the season. He was whipping balls in constantly. Second half, his delivery was all over the place. So, it shows he can do it. I think that he just needs competition to make sure that he is on top of his game and improving all the time. So maybe DiGiglio can do that, all right? What a name as well. DiGiglio? I think I'm saying it right. I might be wrong, but DiGiglio. What a name. Those are the lists I have here. Players who are apparently reported to be on Spurs' radar. Some who aren't. Some who I think should be. And some who are incredibly overpriced. So those are my opinions, my takes, my hot takes, my spicy takes. Wilfried Zaha, please don't come to Spurs. Great. That's about it. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, if you think that Mourinho will come after you. Now, he might have gone a bit soft in his old age. He might be being like, oh, 6th place good, but he's a killer. He's a killer, man. He's savage. I'm a savage. He's a savage. Savage. You don't want that. You don't want him coming after you. You really don't, so just subscribe anyway to avoid that. Now, I've been NarendraTheComic. You've been great, and we'll see you next time. That's tomorrow. If you don't know, make a video every single day. Been doing it for over 2 years now, and we ain't stopping till we get to 10,000 subscribers. So subscribe. That would be very, 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 very good. That was a lot of verys, but I meant every single one of them. It would be very good. That one as well, if you could subscribe. So, subscribe. Cheers. Great. Fantastic. So I will indeed be back in tomorrow with some more quality shitty content, because I'm #never not here. Never, ever, ever, never for over 2 years, never not here. That's what all this means, guys. I'll be here again tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, unless something very unfortunate happens, all right? I'm here. Even if something unfortunate, even if it's just unfortunate, I'm here. If it's very unfortunate, probably not. But we'll cross that bridge if it ever does come to pass, I guess. Or I come to pass the bridge. We'll see. We'll see. So see you tomorrow, because I will indefinitely, almost indefinitely, be here again. Right? Yeah. See you tomorrow. Sounds about right. See you then. Skadoosh.